This is Tush, and I welcome you to Tushalicious Talk, an Oklahoma City podcast for titillating women, tantalizing conversation. And I thank you in advance for allowing me to be your one-stop shop advocacy connection. Hey, welcome again to Tushalicious Talk, where I am the one and only me. My nickname is Tush, and my real name is Jackie Lynette, and I stream important community discussions on the podcast. I also stream them on the League of Women Voters of Oklahoma County Facebook page because I am the co-president there, and I can do that. So for today's episode, I welcome one of our other board members, David Pilchman. Hey. He is the production manager at OKC Repertory Theater. And we are going to discuss The Brother's Size, which is a play by Terrell Alvin McCraney, written by Terrell Alvin McCraney. And David, if you will tell us what exactly you do as the production manager and also why you became a board member at the League of Women Voters of Oklahoma County.
Well, the production manager, their piece of it is kind of like broad strokes. So we deal with the incoming designers, directors, and people who are going to piece the show together. And then once they have their ideas kind of solidified on what the show's going to look like and what their needs are, then we go out to the community and grab all the other hands and people to kind of build it to what you see in the theater. But yeah, I got involved with League of Women Voters because
I begged you to.
Yeah, you really did. Me and Jackie met. I went to you were having a judges forum, and I had never heard of that before. And I was like, how amazing Instagram is helpful to like get you involved with your community. Mm-hmm. And I showed up with a friend, and I feel like I was wearing some like super fun pants and maybe a tank top. And I wanted to talk to you more about like how you get involved with the league, and you were like, you want to be a board member?
We got a slot open.
And I was like, yeah, I've never been on a board before. That sounds exciting. But getting more invested in Oklahoma's civic engagement is something new to me as well. I'm, born and raised in Oklahoma. So the narrative is you don't need to be involved. You kind of can do your own thing and see how that works. And then through the several, years of elections and then 2020 and the pandemic and seeing how our state doesn't really function very well when things kind of get jostled, I wanted to get more involved. And I'm really glad I ran into you that day.
Yes, I'm glad that you did too. Yeah. And I'm really, really happy that you decided to join because community it seems like something that's extremely important to you. And so even in speaking about why I wanted to talk about this play is because we are focusing on criminal justice reform at the League of Women Voters for the entire state of Oklahoma. And for the county league, we focused specifically on discrimination within Oklahoma's criminal justice system. And so the play is called The Brother's Size. And the description of it says that in the Louisiana Bayou, Big Brother O Gun Size is hardworking and steady. Younger brother Oshusi is just out of prison and aimless. Elegba, Oshusi's old prison mate, is a mysterious complication. Flights of poetry, music, dance, and West African mythology combine in a contemporary tale that explores the tenuousness of freedom and the need to belong somewhere, to something, to someone. And I feel like that's just so prevalent to Oklahoma. Oh, yeah. And even when I think about incarceration rates, Louisiana and Oklahoma are right there on top of each other.
Oh, yeah, neck and neck.
Fighting on one on top of the other. So I really hope that a lot of people go out and see this play to kind of see a different aspect of, and especially even when we're talking about the judges. That's funny because tonight we're going to another judge event together. Yep. I would love for people on both sides to understand where people are coming from, have empathy for them. So that being said, if you'll tell us a little more about the play and how you feel like it connects to criminal justice reform.
Yeah, well, I found this play interesting because you're looking at it from a perspective. There's a lot of like statistics out there about like how incarceration really hurts the center family units. And a lot of that information is really about parent to child.
Right.
And this is an example of what it is sibling to sibling and kind of the struggles that you have either being in or out of incarceration, and then how you deal with that dynamic once they get re-released and the fears that come along with that. And I think in Oklahoma, because our incarceration rate is so broad and affects so many families, that it doesn't matter that necessarily this is about, a Black family from Louisiana, but it's something that we can all really kind of identify with. And it's just such a beautiful play. I don't think Oklahoma really gets to see this kind of theater a lot. We really enjoy our show tunes, our tap, our song and dance. But when it comes to telling stories like that come from a truthful, more vulnerable place, I think it's really important that we get to kind of see the story play out.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially, I'm glad that you said it hones in on the sibling relationship, because even not just the incarceration aspect, but also within justice, quote unquote justice, there's also the child protective services, and then they end up taking kids out as well. So I think that people, they only focus on the parent and how the parent is affected and how the parent-child relationship is affected. And no one ever really focuses on the broader spectrum of how just taking that one person away, whether it's by incarceration or by child protective services, it affects the whole family, and not just the immediate family within the household, but cousins and uncles and nieces and so forth and so on. So
they talk about, I've been reading some material about what Terrell, the writer, had said about the show. And there was some talk of disenfranchised grief. That is a term that goes along with, there's an action that happens that you then don't have an outlet to kind of respond to how you're feeling about it. And so in this show, you see Ogun kind of deal with, being blamed for his brother's incarceration by some family members. And then he struggles with, like, could I have done more for my brother in that kind of world? And so, but in also doing that, he's trying to live his own American dream by owning his mechanic shop and things like this. So he doesn't have time to actually process the grief of losing his brother to the system, and then now having him come back. There's a lot more emotion that he has to deal with. So
wow,
yeah, right.
Wow, that's a lot.
It'll get you. This show is not it's not a necessarily a happy ending kind of story. It really just is the constant struggle. When they talk about these names that are, Ogun, Osusi, Alegba, these are all deities from a West African culture.
That's right.
And so the playwright talks about how you have this period piece kind of in essence with these names and the setting that we're putting them in and like the visuals of the poetry, but it's a very contemporary story that still from then to now continues about loss and love and how you deal with the challenges of that
losing
yourself,
someone.
just losing them in general. And like, how do you pick yourself up, and then how do you still, support them and not, it's a very
forward.
It's a very powerful story. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the thought that this is something that, like, through generations and centuries, is something that these people have dealt with is just, it's a very powerful play.
I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it.
You can tell your friends.
Yes. I'm going to pay for a couple of my friends to come with me. So there was another guy. I didn't write his name down. Like a tune. Did you say it was?
Yeah, Atu.
Yes. Tell me more about him.
So Atu Blankson Wood, he is the director of this show. We're bringing him in from New York. It is his directorial debut in a regional setting in a professional theater company. He is usually an actor. You might have seen him in Slave Play, which was on Broadway, and he was nominated for a Tony in 2021. Oh, yes. Very, very fancy, this man. And he's actually having to leave us during our second or so preview of the show to start rehearsals for Hamlet for Shakespeare in the Park in New York City. And we're really excited to have him. He is connected with Kelly Kerwin, who is the artistic director for the company here in Oklahoma City. They worked together at Yale School of Drama, I believe. They did some stuff together. So it's fun to see them come back. and hearing some of his direction about like the ritualisticness of some of their movements and how we're going to introduce these characters into the play is very like West African culture, and then bringing you right back into the mechanic shop. Mm-hmm. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers of like how it looks and what it looks like, because it's so beautiful.
I'm going to see it regardless.
Yeah, you need to see it. But we're really excited to bring in people who have a connection to the story, a connection to of that kind of lifestyle. And we're also bringing in like a woman named Shalia, who is doing our costumes, and the costumes are beautiful with some hints of the West African culture. Our lighting designers coming in from New York, our sound designers coming in from Chicago. And what's great is when we bring all these people in to do these kind of shows, mm-hmm. is that the local community who get to kind of work as the run crew or right. the wardrobe crew, and all these people help build the show together. We get that exposure of other cities and what we can do here, and how we can just connect a little bit broader.
Right, right. So tell me, what is the difference between OKC Rep and the Oklahoma Contemporary Arts Center? Like, what is the relationship like between them?
Yeah. So the Contemporary Arts Center is has been around for about 20 years, and they've been stationed out at the fairgrounds. Mm. And this is a big move in 2020 for their new facility that's on Broadway and 11th Street. And there, it's a combination of all the art forms is kind of how they try to sponsor themselves. So you've got the dirty arts, which is screen printing and clay molding and all these other things. And then you have drawing classes and exhibition spaces that you can see for new artwork that's being shown. But they have a theater space on the third floor of this big building, mm-hmm. That they do performance art, dance, some orchestral work. And then we have a partnership with them as OKC Rep to host our entire season there. So this year was our first grand season opener. Last year, we did kind of like what we called a reboot season, where we had a couple of presentations come in. But this year we did 3 productions that we were self-producing and 2 productions that were coming in from New York to have like their second iteration here in Oklahoma City. So you're seeing a lot of work that is not been seen before by the masses. It hasn't hit Broadway. It's like their first iteration of getting things off their feet, mm-hmm. With hopes that we can push these shows to other regional theaters and right. to possibly get them onto Broadway. And but our relationship there is they are the vessel and our partner to let us come in and kind of play with, and the contemporariness of it all is that these shows are all very new.
Right, right. That's very interesting. What I was thinking is how it's important, how the arts can deter the youth from going down a path that might lead them to incarceration. Oh, yeah. So, and how important it is, like, do you guys talk about that on a regular, like, because it seems like, if anyone doesn't know, the way that the tickets work there is there's not necessarily a set price for a ticket. You kind of pay what you can pay to get in, and they do that so that everyone has access to the play. Mm-hmm. And so on the management side of that, I'm wondering, there had to be a specific reason that you made it like that? And was that part of the reason?
Yeah, we historically, theater and art can be really inaccessible, whether it's like something cultural where you feel like you don't fit in or you don't belong, or it's not for you, it's for a different kind of people, or just straight how much things cost. We see it everywhere where tickets are just exploding for your basic concerts and for things out the door. So Kelly Kerwin really wanted to make a point to if you had $5, you should see a show. And so the pay what you can model is we give suggestive prices of, a regular ticket is $40, mm-hmm. a visionary ticket is $60, and a discounted ticket is $20. But if $20 still is not within your budget to go see some show, then you can pay as little as like $7.50 with the fees and the taxes that come along with the contemporaries side of the marketing. But we really wanted to be able to go to as many people as possible, and we don't want the reason not to go to be because you couldn't afford it. And we also do a lot of community engagement nights for some of our shows. So if it's like one of our shows we did this year was The Great Leap, and The Great Leap was based with America and China's relation through the eyes of a basketball game. And so we really wanted to get the Asian district and the Asian American community. We have a large Vietnamese population here in Oklahoma City, and we wanted them to feel like this is for everyone. And we provided a free night for as many of their people from the Asian commerce. Can't think of what their name is. Either way, we try to do our best to get people into the room who either, I mean, I can't tell you how many times people are saying, I've never been to a play before, and we're so glad we came to see this show. Or, you know, I've never seen a play at all. I've only seen musicals at the Civic Center. So this is a great refresh, and it's telling stories that usually in Oklahoma we don't talk about. So it's pretty fun.
So cool. Tell Kelly I said thank you for thinking about $5.
Oh, yes, of course.
So if someone wanted to get involved, either if they wanted to audition to be in the play or they wanted to be on the production side of it, what would they need to do?
You can go to our website at okcrep.org, and I believe that there's a section that's like contact us or get involved. And then there's places where you can volunteer to be an usher, and that's another good way to see a free show. If you wanted to do that, volunteer to be an usher for the evening. And then we usually post if you're like a technician in the area, it will go to my email and we'll try to set up a call to see what your experience is like. If you want to perform in the shows, we push out auditions, which I think we're trying to set some May dates for like grand auditions for the city. So just be on the lookout. And we're very, very active on Instagram and social media. So if you follow us there, you know, things pop up all the time where you can get involved.
Yes, I'm so grateful that you guys are providing an outlet and an opportunity for people. So did want to say that as we wrap things up, the city council, no, not city council, city clerk, county clerk elections.
Happy early voting day today.
Yeah, there are some city council things and some school board elections going on, but today is early voting. I don't know when this actual podcast will be available on Spotify, but for those that are on Facebook, early voting is today, tomorrow, and then of course the regular voting is on the 4th. And so as you're thinking about those people that there's still some mayoral in there and a couple of city council seats around the metro area,
Ward
like
5
Edmond,
for sure.
And, think about community events like this, because the relationship between the city council person approving what we can do within the city or not approving what we can do in the city, who's the best fit for helping our youth in Oklahoma, because our incarceration rates are so high. So hopefully we don't have to keep coming and talking about opportunity this, opportunity that. And again, I thank you. I thank everyone at OKC Rep for that opportunity. If you have not seen the Oklahoma Contemporary Arts Center, go to the building. It is a beautiful, beautiful new building.
And they're free too. You can walk in there with no plans or no money, and you can walk around and see all the art for free. Very little is ticketed. It's like when they do partnerships with us, but like all of their big main exhibition spaces are free. It's really wonderful. They're open 6 days a week.
What times?
I think they're open from 11 to 5 most days. And then on the weekends, they're a little bit more extended. And Thursdays, they do late night Thursdays. I don't know how like sexy it gets, but it could be fun.
So what's their website? Do you know that?
I believe you can type in oklahomacontemporary.org. You can put in okcontempt.com. You can just Google them. But yeah.
Okay. And then to get tickets for this play, again, it's called The Brother's Size, and it is by Terrell Alvin McCraney. It is from April the 27th through May the 7th. So it's a little bit before it starts, but go purchase your tickets at
okcrep.org.
Yep. Have a good day, y'all. And make sure y'all go vote on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tushalicious Talk is part of the Breaking Ice, Building Bridges community podcast platform, brought to you by Possibilities, Inc.